Star Wars Rebels, the honorable ones. Now, when we first got into this episode, I felt I was disengaged a little bit. I'm gonna be honest with you. Of course, it was the Rebels versus the Empire. Once again, we had Kallus on the Ghost Crew ship, or going after them once again. But in a certain circumstance, Zeb and Agent Kallus are marooned on a planet, a moon, so to speak, an icy moon planet, and this is where the episode took a turn. This is where I really did enjoy, because I think Callus is just developed a little bit more. I think we're seeing a little turn of a leaf, so to speak, of Agent Callus. Now, the problem with Agent Callus is it's the same story with him. He's after the Ghost Crew. He's after these rebels. He's doing the Empire's bidding. He's just your typical kind of henchman, so to speak. He's not an overall bad guy. He's not memorable. He seems like when he's put into scenes in this series that he's kind of useless. He's very useless. He can't do his job right, honestly. So with Agent Callus, there's had to be a little bit of a change up. We had to get, I guess, to know him a little bit more. And in this episode, we do get to know him a little bit more, and we do get to know, we get to see it reminded me so many films back in the day, so many films that we've seen, the enemies becoming somewhat friends, having to survive together because they're put in this planet and there's creatures that are after them. Of course, you have the weather, so they have to try to survive somehow and help each other out. Callus is injured, his leg is messed up. We do hear a background story from him and how his men got attacked by Zeb's people, so to speak, or this one particular person, one particular species of Zebs. So that's why he has a hatred towards the Lasat, I believe. And we also have Zeb and his story about the Empire and how he just despises all Empire. And, but they just form a camaraderie because they joke around with each other. They like this, especially Zeb. Zeb likes to throw some jabs at Callus, and Callus just kind of smirks a little bit. He's like, all right, you little mofo. But honestly, this episode, once we got to that part, once we got to Zeb and, not first they weren't trusting, of course they're not going to trust each other, but when they're really getting to know each other, when they're really having to survive with each other, having to work together, I think that's where the episode really works. And a lot of times when you see this happen in film or television, it works a lot effectively if you're put in circumstances, and because the history of these two, they're enemies, but then you got to know a little bit more history. So what they did with Agent Callus, and I absolutely adored the end. I absolutely, not the foreshadowing, basically the parallels between the two, not parallels, but the difference between the two. Zeb gets rescued by Ezra, the Ghost Crew, and everybody's welcome arms because Callus has been saying your comrades left you. They're not coming back for you. They're done with you. But they came back for him. And I loved the ending where, they had an understanding of each other. He didn't say that he was there, so they could take out Callus or anything like that. They went bygones be bygones, basically. Of course, they're going to have to fight each other in the future, but that's what it is. But I absolutely loved when everybody welcomes Zeb with open arms. They missed him, this and that. But when Callus goes back into his ship, into the Empire, they just say, Agent Callus? And that's it. He's hobbling. He's wounded. Nobody's no friends, he has no friends. He has nobody to say, oh man, what happened? Or worried about him. He just goes into this room, sits down, and just reminisce and thinks about what just happened, and probably thinks about the past and thinks about maybe the future. I absolutely love that scene where he's not saying anything. He's just sitting down and he's just coping with everything. He's processing everything that happened and processing are we truly doing the good thing? Are we really the good guys? Are we really the bad guys? I mean, it was very good. It was very impactful. I believe that scene right there was very impactful, and that was worth this whole episode. And this episode is a good episode. This episode is really good when you have, like I said, this scenario and these situations with these two characters. And I think this is an Agent Callus episode, honestly, because he needed this. He definitely needed this as a character. So the showrunners are very smart to do this type of episode, and maybe we could progress a little bit further more down the line. But overall, I thought Star Wars Rebels, what is it called? The Honorable Ones. It was a good episode. I thought it was a very good episode, and I thought overall it was well done. I thought some of the action sequences were really well done as well. When the TIE fighters were blowing up, it just makes me reminiscent of those first original films from the Star Wars trilogy, with Luke, Han, and Leia. So when the TIE fighters blew up, it just brings me joy when I see that happen. Like that looks like this is CGI, but it really looks like that special effects what they did in that with the team and stuff. So overall, great episode. Thank you guys for listening. We are almost done. I'm hearing we're gonna get Ahsoka versus Darth Vader. Finally, the face off. I can't wait for it. I had a video on that of what will happen. Of course, Darth Vader is gonna win, but does he kill Ahsoka? I think he might. I think he will, because we don't see Ahsoka anywhere near the trilogy or anything like that. But you never know. They could always play around with it. But thank you guys for listening. I'm Dan Mackey, Dan's son. Hit that subscribe button. Would really appreciate it. Like the video if you like it. Comment below. Love to hear you guys' thoughts on Star Wars Rebels so far and season 2. So I'm out of here, guys. May the Force be with you.